I'm going to share with you guys everything that we do to plan and create this event system, and talk to you about kind of how it started, why it started, and we're going to get through a lot in the next couple days. They gave you this information, but you can find me, Nordstrom Photo, on Twitter, and I'm Lori Nordstrom on Facebook. Click the little subscribe button on there. And I also have my Photo Talk forum, which we have a Facebook presence for that as well, so you can find me there too. So I love being connected with you guys and really staying involved in what's going on for you and what you need as well. So, first question is, why a portrait event? And I know for a lot of you guys, you are, you're in business and maybe needing to niche a little bit more, or, Janice, you have a busy life and you want to concentrate on one thing that you can do, part of the time. And we all have kids, we've got families, we've got other things. And so that's one of the things with a portrait event that I found is, with my busy studio that I have, it's something that I can really concentrate on, even a segment of the market that maybe I don't reach in my studio. I have a high-end portrait studio, and there was a segment of the marketplace that I wasn't reaching. And about, excuse me, hopefully my sickies don't come out. But about 2009, and for those of you who have been in business for a while, about 2009 was when all of a sudden, the media said we're in a bad economy, and all of a sudden everybody and their mother and father were photographers. And, and the world changed a little bit for us as photographers and in our industry. And so it was, I actually came to a day in my studio, and typically in my business, I am very, very focused. I know what I need to be bringing in monthly, yearly, quarterly, and really watch my numbers pretty well. And in 2009, I had a month where my phone wasn't ringing. And all of a sudden, I was looking around saying, I got to make money, and I've got to make it tomorrow. I'm a single mom, like a lot of you, and it's not an option for me to not take care of my family. That's, period, that's what I got to do. And so I decided I need to make money tomorrow, and what can I do? And so I decided to create a portrait event. And it was based on really the charity fundraising events that I had done in the past. Those work, it's a full, busy day. It's a profitable day, both for the charity and for my business. And so I knew that I could kind of shift that a little bit and make it about the business and make it a product line. And so over the years, what I found is that, we continue to do these Real Kids events, even though the economy shifted back a little bit. And I'll tell you about what I'm doing in my business to really kind of stand out in the marketplace from all the every photographer that's out there. But it's allowed me to have once a month, we can host a portrait event and have a very busy, very profitable day that doesn't include a lot of workflow, which makes it even more profitable than what we do on a day-to-day basis. And so it really works well as a product line. And I found that it works very well for someone like me who wants to add an additional product line to what they already do in their business. And it works for the stay-at-home mom who wants to work one day a month, wants to do an event and see a lot of people maybe on a Saturday. That's the only day you have to work because you're with your kids the rest of the week. There's just lots of different ways that you can incorporate this into what your needs are and what works for you. And so we're gonna go through how you can incorporate this. And I'm going to just go through what we're going to cover over the next 3 days. It's going to be a lot of information. And we're going to talk about, not just the portrait events, but how you can incorporate a portrait event and this system into other product lines if you don't want to photograph kids like I do. But also really growing other areas of your business as well, how you can market and target client. I'll go through some of this, but defining your niche and your style. We're going to spend a good amount of time on that this morning. I really feel that it's important that no matter what product line you're selling, you're adding, whether it's a whole different event system or it's you're deciding to add seniors to your product line, whatever it is, you can't do that without defining your niche and your style first. Because we have to know that before we know what we're marketing, who we're marketing to. So we've got to do that. So we're going to go through that. We're going to Talk about how to make your portrait events different from anything else you're doing currently, but also how to make it different than all the other photographers that are around you. So how to talk about it and communicate the differences to your client. We're going to talk about networking and building that client database. That's something that's very important to keep your business going. Marketing, we're going to spend a good bit of time on marketing, and we definitely will talk about how to market the portrait event system, but I'm going to talk to you guys about marketing in general. And I know all of us, we all have businesses. That's why we're here. And so whether you're wanting to make a portrait event system your full business or not, we're all marketing all the time. That's a huge part of being in business and being a business owner. So we're going to spend some time on marketing. We're going to talk about finding and working with your very first host mom. And I have a lot of people that, that's what they're nervous about. Well, I don't know anybody that would be right for this, or, I'm brand new to my area. How do I find the right person? So we're going to talk about that and how to find that person, and then how to work with them and coach them and walk through that whole process. We're going to share the studio pieces that you're going to want to incorporate for your events. That's one of the big things for me anytime I'm creating a new product line or anything that we're doing in the studio. I always want to base it around a campaign. And so we want to look at all the different pieces that are needed to build this campaign. And I will tell you too, I've got everything printed so you can see it all. We do use some printed pieces, but a lot of what I do is a digital PDF. And so we'll talk about that too. You don't have to invest a ton of money to get started doing this. You can do things digitally, especially these days. Use the excuse that you're going green if you want to. It's a great way to communicate to your clients a very positive twist on the fact that you don't have a bunch of printed pieces around. So you'll be able to see everything that we do, but like I said, you don't have to invest in all the things that I have printed here. We'll go through an actual phone script and coaching calls, and you'll be able to hear a live call that I did with one of the moms that we're going to be photographing her kids, so you'll see all that. And then we're going to go through consultations that I do after setting up the event. We do consultations with both the host mom and with every single guest. That's one thing that makes this different than any other portrait event or portrait party or anything like that out there that I know of, is that we are actually working with the client through the process, every single client, not just the host mom, but I'm taking that extra step to make sure I'm communicating with each one of the guests so that they're prepared for the session and for the sale. So we'll go through all of that. And then we'll talk about planning for the actual sale. And that's all today. So we're going to get through all that today. Tomorrow, we're going to go through preparing for the actual event. I'm going to share my checklist with you guys that I go through before each event. Just getting ready, what we're packing, and all that good stuff. So there that is, packing for the event and the checklist. I'm going to talk to you about finding the light and where we're going to shoot. While we're here, we are going to shoot inside tomorrow because we're in Seattle. But honestly, if I were here and this was my climate to work with, I would do exactly what I do in Iowa. In Iowa, it's cold, 4 or 5 months of the year, and 3 months of the year, it's nasty cold. But I choose to photograph outside almost all the time when I'm doing these events. And what we do is, they're short sessions. They're about 20 minutes. And so I just tell moms, bring their sweaters and their coats and hats and mittens, and we're going to do a fun snow day picture, or a fun winter day picture, a fun rainy day picture. And especially, in a climate like Seattle, I would say, celebrate the area you live in. And if that's what you're given, photograph it. That's a great way to, have the memory of your child being your child, is if you see them in snow or you see them in rain, or that's how you live, then, photograph that. So, but we'll talk about shooting both indoors and out, and I'll let you guys check out my lighting setup. We are going to shoot an indoor session or a studio session on Sunday. I've got my days mixed up kind of, but so we'll talk about both ways, natural light and studio light. We're going to talk about looks that sell, and as you've probably seen, if you've seen any of my work or even just looked at the images around here, I am not about the posed, perfect portrait looking at the camera. I want, and again, we'll go through this when we're talking about style. Everybody's got a different style, and that's why we can all be in business. But my style is real life. That's what the Real Kids thing is all about, is that those real life moments. And that's what I want to photograph, and that's what I want to communicate to the parent, what I saw in their child. And so the looks that I'm looking for are the natural moments that happen. And I might get them into the right position for the light, but then I'm going to let them do their thing. And, and that's, leaning in to giggle or looking off at the clouds or whatever they're doing at the moment. And so we'll talk about those looks and how to communicate the right things to mom so that she sees what you're seeing. We'll talk about shooting for what we've planned for with each and every client. So as I'm working with the moms, thank you. As I'm working with the moms and doing those consultations, I'm going to be planning the actual session around what we've discussed. So we'll talk about how all that goes and what happens. And what's really exciting is that as we plan a session, mom starts buying, because we're talking about, I'm having them taking images of their walls at home. So I'm making clothing suggestions, I'm making decor suggestions right from the very beginning, and I'm going to shoot for those things. I'm going to tell them that's what I'm shooting for. So they start investing in this whole process from the very beginning. And that's the way that we sell high end even during these short portrait events. So we'll go through all of that. Working with kids and working with moms. I know lots of you out there have kids and love working with kids. So I'm just going to share a few little tips and tricks that I enjoy working with kids, and some things that I do, and then working with the moms is just as important, and we know that. And then in the afternoon of tomorrow, we're going to do an actual event. We have 3 sessions. Normally during an event, I do 10 sessions, but we're going to do 3 tomorrow, mini event, and we'll be doing it exactly like we do on a regular event. We're going to shoot, and then we're going to sell. So they're going to actually see their images immediately following their session, and we'll go through the quickie sales process. So you'll get to see all that happen. And then on day 3, we're covering a lot, you guys. And back to day 2, you're going to see it happen on day 2. You'll see the session and the sale. And then on day 3, I'm actually going to go through the process with you. So we'll talk a lot more about sales on day 3. In the morning, we're going to do a family portrait session, and then we're just going to talk through the family portrait sale. I do things, some the same, some the different, some a little bit different in our regular studio session. So you're going to see a regular studio family portrait session, and it's actually our host mom that set up the other 3 kids, the other 3 families for the event. And then we'll talk through sales. We're also going to talk about pricing and pricing philosophy. So not just the pricing that I have set up for these events. We'll go through all that and why, but I'm also going to talk to you a little bit about setting up pricing for different product lines and the different philosophies behind packages and a la carte and build a collection and all those things that are out there, and why certain things work for certain things. We'll talk about building a product line, and like I said, this works for whether you're photographing high school seniors or brides or whatever it is, you can make a system like this work. So we'll talk about building a product line based on what your niche is and what your style is. I said that. The sales process, like I said, we'll go through that whole thing. We'll talk about objections and working with moms and using the right language to lead them to that final order appointment. And then we'll talk about putting this whole thing in place. So how to make it all happen once you get home. And then applying it to other product lines, no matter what you want to shoot. We'll talk about how to apply this to charitable marketing events so that you can do fundraising with it. And finally, we're going to talk about setting goals and a business plan. And I've got this on here last. I definitely hope to get to the business plan portion and the setting goals portion. We're going to use it wherever we need it in the next 3 days. I'm kind of going to go loose there. So we might put it in. And so I want you all to go to phototalkforum.com/blog. And when you go there, on the right, you're going to see this little emblem, icon, whatever. And it says free gift. It's a 30-page business plan workbook and worksheet. And this is a business plan workbook that I put together for our forum members, but it's free for all of you while I'm here. Download that, and when we get to that portion of the event, we're going to go through that together as much as we can. But it'll be something that you can get and download and have ready and waiting when we get to that part. So, all right, we ready? Here we go.
I just want to say, Lori, wow. That's incredible how much information we're going to and learning we're going to do in the next 3 days. So I am pumped.
We'll pack it all in.
All right, internet is pumped as well.
All right, awesome. I got to go back before I get this and say first. Before I get going, I want to thank my whole team back at the studio. I've only been home 1 day this month. And I was in Ecuador, and I was in DC before that. And the 1 day that I was home was the day before I came here. And my right hand in the studio, I cannot run my studio without Stacy. She's been with me for about 5 years, and she's amazing. She does all of our digital stuff. She's my second shooter. And Tuesday, I was home this 1 day, and she is in labor at her desk. So Lori, the slave driver, does not let her leave. I'm only home 1 day. We have stuff we've got to get done. This is such a busy month, and holiday orders and all these things, and I'm not there. And so you're going to see a little video of Stacy, and then she did have her baby just yesterday, 2 days ago, whatever I left to come here. I don't remember. So you're going to say that. So I want to thank her and thank Katie, who does all my graphic design stuff, and Kim, who's been with me for 10 years, who's my office manager. My whole group of people they have really supported me getting here, so I wanted to give a shout out to them. So here's Stacy.
Are you having a contraction right now? Don't be mad at me, but I think this is pretty funny. What are you working on while you're contracting?
I'm card designing.
Oh, breathe.
Am I turning red?
Yep. Okay, say hi. Stacy when she's not pregnant with her hubby. And Stacy's desk, and Stacy with her firstborn. This is number 3. So say bye.
See ya.
Next time we see her, she'll be having her 3rd.
And she did. That's baby Otto. So I can't wait to get home and photograph him. And then these are my kids, and I wanted to throw them up there just because we all like talking about our kids, right? And it just thanks to everybody who supported me getting here. This is Joshua, JC, and Jackson. And Josh just turned 26 last week. Lives out in LA and is a musician. JC is 23 and just got engaged. And Jackson is 14. So those are my buddies. And this is my soon-to-be grandchild. JC's fiance has a 2-year-old. This is my buddy, Preston. And as you can see, he's already used to the camera. So that's my family.